Hi, Brent Johnson here, and I just wanted to post a video today to say I'm sorry there's no organ video this weekend yet again. We've been really busy. We have one video that's still in production, and we haven't shot the final bits that need to put it all together. So hopefully that'll be out soon. It won't be out right away because I'm going to be on the road again. I'm traveling this week for some personal things, and then week after next I'll be headed towards Milwaukee for the American Institute of Organ Builders convention. So if you're going to be there, come say hi. Apparently Christopher Sower and I are going to have a table in the exhibition room, so it'll be great to see you. I'll have some materials to share with you there. We have, like I said, one video that's still in production. We've got some plans for some local things coming up. The reason we don't have anything else in the pipeline is we've run out of money. Our travel budget for the year has been spent. We've been really lucky. Normally, most years, we budget a certain amount for travel, and then we're actually able to do a lot more because we get some sponsorships from companies or individuals that want us to go to a certain place. And we've been really lucky the past 18 months or so that we haven't needed any of those sponsorships. I think we've had one this year, and that was early in the year or late last year actually, when it was in planning, and we had expended our budget there as well. But I guess in 2022 we received a very nice bequest that we put aside, and we've been using that every now and then whenever we needed some extra travel funds. And unfortunately, those days are over. So now we're back to square one. Our budget will start over in 2026, unless we have some sponsors that appear in the next few weeks, and we want to do something before the end of the year. That also points out, if you're doing any estate planning, you can keep Organ Media Foundation in mind, because that can help others in the future. Everything you've seen for the past couple of years relies a lot on one individual who remembered us in his final will. We, of course, are keeping our budget afloat for other things. We don't want to endanger any other projects. Our streaming stations, Organ Live, Positively Baroque, and The Organ Experience, we have upgraded the hardware and the software, and we are streaming them ourselves. We are no longer hosting those on other internet connections. So we have heard from listeners that the service is better, it connects faster, the quality is good, and I can confirm we have had zero downtime since those all went online, which is really great. So I'm excited about that, and that's something we can hopefully expand our audience on. I'm always still surprised how many people don't know that organlive.com is out there. It has been out there for 22 years, and it's easy to tune in. We have an app. You can just go to organlive.com/play, and I think it'll start playing on any device that can stream music. So, and the King of Instruments is our classical organ radio show. It's an hour of music that's hosted by Mark Schultz and Bill Stein. They also write the show, and that is on the air here in St. Louis, but we also put it on SoundCloud, and goes out as a podcast from SoundCloud, and that's fed into our YouTube channel. So you probably see those every Sunday showing up if you're a subscriber. If you are involved with radio stations anywhere else in the country and would like to have the King of Instruments on the air where you are, it's available on PRX. You can go to the exchange.prx.org if you're a radio producer. If you know somebody running a radio station and tell them you'd like to have it, we can help make it happen. We would like to get the content out there. So message me about that. My email is brent@organmedia.org, and we can talk about how we can get the King of Instruments on the air where you are. Now, we have another project that just went online this week, and I thought I'd tell you about it. You may or may not have any interest in it, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about it anyway because it's been interesting to get it online. Some documents appeared here that came from the pipe shop of Aeolian-Skinner. When Aeolian-Skinner went out of business in the 1970s, Bob Sipe in Texas bought all of those materials. Sadly, Bob died last year, and his daughter Katie has been disseminating his materials and organ building things, and these two books from the Aeolian-Skinner pipe shop made their way to Missouri, and I saw them and said, I think we should share these with people because they're interesting. I don't think they're sacred or secret or anything. I think they've actually seen, a lot of people have had copies of these and they've been out there, but they've never been available online. So I thought we would try to make that available. The easiest way to do this is to scan the pages, put it in a big PDF, and upload it somewhere. And we could have done that, but then all you get is a giant PDF. It's not indexed. You don't know where any of the information is. You've got to dig through, and you've got to transcribe the data out if you want to use it for something. So I thought we would try to not only make the pages of these documents available, but also the data that's within them. So first thing we did was to scan the documents. That was easy enough. We have a nice book document scanner, made the process very fast. Just automatically scans. You put the page down, it beeps, it's done. You put the page back in the book. There was probably even some ways we could have done it a little faster, but the we had not quite 500 pages, and it probably took about 2.5 hours with setup. Then to make it as readable as possible, we saved them in PDF format in a group of about 20 pages each, but then used an OCR process, so optical character recognition. So they're PDFs, they're pictures of the pages, but there's text embedded in there. You can actually select the text and see it and copy and paste. However, these are tables, and the PDF doesn't know what the table is. And so if you copy it, you just get a string of characters that don't really relate to each other in any way, and there's not really anything useful you can do with that data. So we wanted to make sure the data was presented some way that is ideally human readable and machine readable. And our first instinct was HTML, so we can put it on a website. However, making it machine readable requires some processing. You have to go back from the HTML into something else. So my first thought was a way to encode that might be XML, because I'm old and I learned to use XML a long time ago for encoding data. But now I realize we use JSON for everything, sending data back and forth from our servers to other websites. And so putting it into JSON tables, which is not as pretty to the human eye, but the computer can read it really well. And I was very lucky to find almost immediately a website called Parsio that will take images of pages and take the data out and encode it in a way that makes sense. And in fact, it did that very well. And I was very excited to see it would give us a JSON output. It also shows you, essentially, it renders the table for you and shows you what data it's found. And you can see here that it's not right. There's a lot of little things to fix. So that was the next step. We uploaded about 20 pages at a time, would take the JSON out. And fortunately, there were a lot of consistent errors. One of them was like the double, whenever there were quotes for ditto marks, it would think those were W's or M's or H's or 2 1s or 2 exclamation points. There were a lot of mistakes like that, but they were consistent enough mistakes that we could do a mass search and replace on all of those errors, and it would change them to the correct thing. Another common error that was kind of frustrating was it would find the footmark, just a single quote, as it would see it as a 1 usually, or a 0 or a 9 or an 8, because there might be some white space in the middle. So to quickly root those out, we just did a regular expression search on 3-digit numbers, because there's not many 3-digit numbers in these patterns. Unless we get the scales start to get smaller than 100, then we'd see that. But it was easy to go through and find 3-digit numbers that didn't belong there and change them to foot marks instead. So we would have something like 3 foot 6.5 inches. It would make it 316.5 inches. So easy enough to find and fix, but just I had to go through each page and do that individually. That probably took about 2 days to do. There were some other things we had to do. For instance, at some point then, we start seeing that the columns wrap. So there's one row of data, and instead of going to a new page, they had space to just create a second set of columns. Well, that makes sense to me looking at it, but to the computer, it sees 6 or 8 columns of data. The first thing I thought to do was to just give that JSON file that has all this badly organized data to an AI bot and have it straighten it out. That took a surprisingly long time. It was, 30 to 45 seconds per table. And I realizing what it was doing, that this was way too much time. So instead, a quick Python script was written, and the Python would just take the data out, put it back into the proper table headings at the end of the document. They did have to be a little bit hard-coded for the table names, because they would change sometimes. Like sometimes some tables say full length, others say total length. So you had to change that to make sure it knew what it was looking for. But running that took a second or a second and a half instead of half a minute. So that sped up the process a lot. Also, there were some places where the tables were just so badly formatted in the typing that the computer didn't know what to do with it. It had lots of extra columns. So again, Python to the rescue to just sort out the data that we needed and to simplify things. So all of that was as automated as possible. So nobody was sitting there copying data. The risk of human mistakes was kept as small as possible, we hope. I still can't guarantee that everything is perfect. There may be some things that slip through. Once those were done, we would one at a time upload the JSON files to a web server, and then there was a little PHP script that would go through and format it into HTML. And in fact, that's the basis of the site that's up today. And that also, I put some error correcting things in there. It would look and see, and if there was something that didn't look right, if there was a character that didn't look like it belonged, it was outside alphanumeric range or something, it would highlight that cell. And so that made it quick to go through and find things that were obviously wrong, but also it made it easier just to look at it in a nice human readable format, and it was quick to see errors that would jump out. So if you see any of those, please let me know so we can fix them. And then the final step, once we got all that online and organized, was then to link the original documents. So all of the original stuff is still on there. So if you want to see the actual PDF of the page that the data came from, or pages, because sometimes several pages have been consolidated into one table, you can find that linked there at the bottom, both the Aeolian-Skinner books and Tommy Anderson's book. That's Tommy was head of the pipe shop at Aeolian-Skinner and then ran his own company, and it was his notebook that supplied most of the information because it had the cleanest copy, although it was photocopied. Now, the project's not done. There are still some handwritten tables that need to be processed, and I have not given those to the computer to see if it can do anything with them. And there's a few other little things like letters and some scales from Giesecke that are in there that are not Aeolian-Skinner, but Aeolian-Skinner was obviously using those, so they might be interesting to add in there. So those will be showing up in the next few weeks as we get more time to work on it. Now, I don't know exactly how useful this is to anybody, but it's fun to go through the process and to show what we can do. But the data is there. The JSON data can also be downloaded if you would like to take it, convert it, scale it up or down. If you would like to make some visualizations out of it, it's all there for you to do that. And that's something that I really want to do here at Oregon Media, is make information like this available to anyone who wants to play with it. Aeolian-Skinner's out of business. Bob Sipe is out of business. This is not really proprietary information anymore. As I said, I don't think these are sacred or secret. They've been going around for a while, but now they are available online, and we would like to do more with that. As you may know, the Kilgan Archives are a project that we've been working on. Christopher Sower owns a lot of the material from the Kilgan Organ Company when they went out of business. We would like to get all of that online just as well. And the problem is, this was less than 500 pages. This was, I think, 470 or 80 pages of data. Chris's collection has thousands. So getting that online is going to require hiring somebody essentially to go through, and it's unrelated data. It's not all simple tables like this was. So it's going to require a human eye to go through and see what the information is and index it and make it searchable, things like that. It's a much bigger project, but it's something we'd like to take on. But we need the support of our people who enjoy that to do it. So if you're interested in helping contribute to a project like that, we welcome your support. You can donate on our website at Oregon.media, and in the little notes section for the donor form, you can say, I would like this to go towards, Oregon Builder document preservation, and we'll set it aside and won't use it for anything but that. And if we're not ready to start, we will put it aside and it will stay there until we have enough money to make something happen. It takes a lot of time and a lot of energy to make something like this happen. But as I hope I've shown you here, through some automation and through some clever scripting, we can speed up a lot of the process and get it online quickly. So that's where we are here at the end of September. I'm not quite ready to hibernate for the winter yet. I would like to get out and do some more things. So we're going to do one more little capital push here towards the end of the year, like we tend to always do, and kind of shake some of the trees and get some of our spring donors that have disappeared to show back up and show what we've accomplished this year. And hopefully they'll want to support some of that. So we may be sending some of you emails or putting some messages here on YouTube or on Facebook or everywhere. So look for those, and I hope if you haven't become a sponsor of Oregon Media this year, you'll consider it. So that's it for now. For those of you that are dying to know, the Christmas Oregon Live Station will be online in about 6 weeks, so keep watching. I might even put a little announcement about that out because we would like to expand that library. So that's it for now. Again, your comments and suggestions are always welcome. Please send us an email or leave comments down below. We always read them. For now, I'm Brent Johnson. Thank you for watching.